Hey guys, what is up? Welcome, happy Friday. How are you guys doing? I did see my new niece today for the first time. What a little mush, so cute. I was kind of scared to hold her because she's so small, but I just wanted to actually also say thank you so much for all the love on yesterday's video. I really appreciate it. I read through all the comments and you guys are so sweet, so thank you. Yeah, I held mush today. She's so cute. For today's video, I wanted to share with you guys a look and first impression on the brand new Huda Beauty Browns palettes. So she recently released these three little guys. Each one retails for $29. I'll have this linked down below. You can purchase it from Huda's website or Sephora's website. It is available there now. When I saw the promo pics for these palettes, I was like, 1 second here, like what is this? The definition of my dreams, let me tell you. I've been really falling fully in love with the Huda Beauty brand. Lately, everything I've tried from them to the most part has been a 10 out of 10. So I'm just like, I'm eager to see what I could do with these palettes, and I'm just really happy to have them in my life. Love brown tones, neutral tones, just like, especially brown. Like I feel like it looks so good, you know? Let's do this. Okay, so the first palette that we have up is Caramel. Here is what caramel looks like. There are 5 metallics and 4 mattes. I would say this one leans probably the warmest out of all. I love the fact that she put these like really cool like swirled shades in here, because I know she has those with her bigger palettes, but I'm excited to see that she's being a bit more adventurous with these little ones. And next up we have the Toffee palette. I feel like that's where my Brooklyn accent is so coming out. Is it toffee or toffee? I don't know. Here in this one right here we get 4 metallics and 5 mattes. This one right here is more of like your mustardy brown tone palette. And then I personally think that this one right here is my favorite. It's the chocolate palette. These are so my kind of tones. We get 4 metallics in here and 5 mattes. With this one, there's no swirly shade, which I would have loved, but still nonetheless so pretty. If you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time, you do know that I'm not 100% in love with the non-pan palettes by Huda. Like the colorful ones, I feel like to me are not the bestest. The purple one is okay. The green one that she has kind of sucks. Her nude line is actually pretty good. Definitely a step above from like her colorful line. So I'm curious to see how these will perform, if they're going to be nicer than the nude line, if they're going to be, you know, worse, all of that. Oh my goodness, I just mushed the shade. I do have high hopes for these because it seems like with every non-pan palette she releases, it consistently kind of gets better and better. So we'll see. I'm gonna be using the chocolate palette, I think, on this eye, and then we're gonna add a little bit of a twist here. We're gonna do the caramel palette on this eye, and then hopefully sometime in the future I'll use the toffee, but we're not gonna use that baby today. So with a JH33 brush, I'm gonna go in with this shade right over here, the middle one, to set the lids. So I'm just gonna apply this nicely on. I have to remember not to do both eyes because I've never done this kind of like look kind of thing with one palette for one eye and the other palette for another eye, you know? I wouldn't say this is necessarily the best lid setting shade because it has a little bit of color, but I think it should be fine. Then I'm going to take a Refer 13 brush, just a really tiny small brush. I'll try to have these linked down below. And then I'm going to go on with this shade right over here. It's more of like a warmer brown. Yeah, I don't really want to blend too much. I kind of really want to have this color be super saturated and very pigmented. It's actually really gorgeous upon initial application. I really like this kind of brown tone. It actually applied beautifully. I'm very impressed with that one. I'm gonna go in with this really pretty brown chocolatey shade. I feel like it has like a little hint of purple to it too. But I'm gonna use that on the same exact brush and apply this pretty much in the same area. My nose scratches. Apply this in the same area, maybe like a drop lower, just to kind of deepen things up a little bit more. Hopefully it will not look like someone punched me in the face after this. In the eye, you know what I'm saying? A little baby bit of fallout. Just something to keep in mind. Nothing too crazy though. A little bit here, but wow, very impressed with that brown. I like that you could kind of still see the transition vibe going. Before I go in and do the lid, I think I'm gonna do the lower lash line with the same shade, so that deeper brown, and kind of connect the colors, and then I'll see what I want to do for the lids. Oh, and with this, I'm gonna use a JH30. It's like a smaller shader brush, perfect for like under there. That shade has, like I mentioned before, a little hint of purple in it. I don't know if I'm loving that. I wish it would have more of like a deeper brown tone base, which it does once you build up, but like I feel like diffused, it looks slightly pale. Let's go in with this one. Probably not a shade I would typically use that often. I don't really like this one as much, I'll say. These two shades almost look similar. I don't know how they're gonna look on the eye. I'm gonna just go in with that one that I wanted to go in with initially. But I'm just pretty much gonna pop it on my lids. The metallics seem like they have like a thickness to them, so I feel like they're not the type that just kind of glide on. You can tell the formula is not the same as like from her bigger palettes with the metallics for sure. And then I feel like, you know, like Natasha Denona's metallic formulas are very silky smooth, very like, you know what I mean? This one right here is a little bit like harder to blend out, again, just because it has like that thickness to it. Also, important to blend out as best as you can, because I feel like because they're so thick, it can kind of feel like look thick on the eye too, you know? So I would say just blend away. There's no like light highlighted shade. I feel like a lot of palettes are starting to have a lot of that, which I personally love. So, but you know, it's fine, it happens. I'm gonna be using the Ofra highlighter in Glazed Donut. This is one of my favorites. You guys know I have a code with Ofra. It's just Liora for 20% off. Sorry if that sounds annoying already. I know I see it, but in case you're new here. So, just saying. I do feel like this amps up the look. It's so pretty on the inner corner, especially on the brow bone, and it's like silky smooth too, so I love it. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much it for this eye. We'll do lashes and everything towards the end. The look will come together beautifully, I promise. For the other eye, like I mentioned, we're gonna use Caramel. Let's see here. For my first shade, I'm gonna go in with this orangey shade. I would say it's the most orangey of the bunch. And I'm gonna use the JH33 brush for this one. I feel like it'll be kind of hard for me to work this way because I'm a righty, so it's all like, you know. But let's see. I feel like for this eye, it's so easy for me to keep things low. For this eye, I always seem to go higher than I really want. You know what I mean? There's always that one, or maybe just me, I'm not sure. There's always just that one eye where it's like, it just comes out better than the other. Not bad. Next, I'm gonna go in with the brown shade here. So I would say the undertone is a bit different than the brown in the chocolate palette. Yeah, this one right here seems like it has more like a redder vibe. The chocolate palette has more like a brown. I'm gonna try to use the same brushes that I use on this side of the eye, on this side of the eye, for this side of the eye, just because I want to try to create a similar intensity. I'm gonna go in with the Refer 13 brush and use the brown. So I don't want it to be too diffused. I really actually just want it to be very pigmented. So first I'm gonna work it in the crease area, back and forth, wind wiper shield motions. Wind wiper motions. I gotta learn English. I wanted to that shade built up pretty nicely. It looks really pretty on the eye. I feel like you can go light with it or build it up basically. Next, I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, which I think is interesting because it's more like, not necessarily a metallic. It has like more of a satin finish. It's like brown but gold at the same time. So I'm gonna take a little bit on my finger and apply it on the lids. I feel like, oh wow, this is really pretty. I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this shade would suck. I was like digging my finger in there. I'm like, I'm already expecting it to be like not the best, but this is beautiful. This has more like of a glittery type of finish. Very nice. It's just like, oh my god, I love this color. This would just be so pretty to top over anything. You can use it also as a one swipe swatch situation kind of thing. So very interesting because like on my finger it looks a certain way, but then when you put it on the eye, it's like, excuse me, what's your name? This is really, really nice. I wish you would include more of these finishes in these palettes because I think the metallics, they're just not my favorite in these palettes so far. I mean, they work, but they're not my favorite. This right here definitely like blew my socks off my feet. I'm in love. I can see this being a shade I will use often. And for the lower lash line, I'm gonna go in with this shade right over here. So I would say just based on using this for the first time, it's not like a super deep palette, even though there's like a deeper shade right over here. It's more of like your mid-tone palette, like not too deep, but not too light. I would say the chocolate one is probably the deepest of the bunch. You can get very dramatic looks with this, but probably somewhat medium looks with this as well. I hope I'm making sense here. I know this is not a typical way that beauty people speak, but I don't know, that's how I speak. I mean, based on looking at this one, I feel like this would also kind of have like the best of both worlds, but I don't think you can go super deep with this one. also more in the middle-ish there. Okay, for mascara, I want to go in with the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. I spoke about this in yesterday's video. Just want you guys to see like what the vibe is because it's really, really good. So it's definitely more of like a wet formula, but as you guys can see, it does build up really, really nicely. It has a rubber bristled wand. It's pretty flimsy, so you can kind of get up all in there. And I think for a drugstore mascara, it's definitely like just very high-end feeling. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's amazing. So for liner, I'm going to use this one right here from Pat McGrath. I recently reviewed this in one of my videos. This is for like mystery boxes type of thing. I'm just going to apply this on this side just because I feel like it's a little bit more dramatic. I have no idea how I'm doing this with one hand. Usually this never happens. I'm not gonna put it on this way. I'm not gonna put it on this eye. I just feel like it's a bit more maybe neutrally. Next, I'm just gonna pop on some e.l.f. lashes. These are in Troublemaker. Of course, I'll have them linked down below. I believe they're on sale on e.l.f. site actually at the moment for $2. So I feel like you cannot go wrong with that. Okay, so lashes are on. I also did highlight my inner corner and brow bone highlighter with the same Ofra Glazed Donut highlighter because yeah, this palette also just doesn't have one that's light enough for my skin tone. Yeah, I actually really love how both eyes turned out. It's a little bit weird for me to see me with two different like eye stories going on, but I think that they both look really pretty in their own ways. You got more like neutral-ish, just brown tone, light brown tones, slightly more on the warmer tone side. And then here we have more like the seductive, darker side, which I love. Okay, next I'm just gonna quickly apply the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte liquid lipstick. I figured I would keep it on brand. This is in the shade Trendsetter. I would say it's more like a mid-tone brown. It's not too light, but it's also not like a super deep mid-tone brown. I also would say it leans slightly more on the like to the warmer tone side, but I think it's so pretty. So that's pretty much in regards to these little brown palettes from Huda Beauty. Right off the bat, I could tell that I'll probably enjoy the mattes more. I mean, even with today's looks, I just enjoyed blending that out a bit more. Like it was just kind of easier to work with. The metallics, I feel like I said, a little bit thicker, so you kind of have to work it in there. And then with that like nice satin glittery shade from the Caramel palette, that was so nice. I hope she does more of those kind of formulas in her palettes because it's so beautiful to work with and it's just nice on the eye, you know? Before we end off, I did want to compare these brown palettes to the nude palette, the medium version. That's the only one I have from the nude family. And then the Naughty Nudes palette, I felt like these tones would probably be the most similar to these because when I shared this with you guys on Instagram, actually a bunch of you guys were telling me that you feel like it seems like it has a similar vibe to a bunch of her other palettes. What I usually say when palettes look somewhat similar, I would say that they're more like sister palettes. Like they're unique in their own way, but they also have some similarities. You can kind of get the same situation going with like the Naughty Nude palette and the nude palette, but it still looks pretty different on the eye, you know? Let me show you guys what these look like together. Okay, so here is what we're working with in regards to all of the palettes. We have the Naughty Nudes up here. We have the nude medium here, toffee, caramel, and chocolate. So again, they look like they're part of the same family for sure, especially like these two and this. And a little bit of this as well. This is very different, I want to say, but you could still see they're just the tones, the finishes of everything, and just it's also very different at the same time. Just a little bit of a close-up of what we're working with. Really nice. And then the Naughty Nudes palette looks brand new. It's because it is the other one that I had completely fell apart and shattered. Right, so that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what team you're on. If you're on this team or on this team, keep me posted. Also, let me know if you guys ended up picking this up for yourself. Will you pick it up during the Sephora VIB sale? I think I'll get a lot of use out of these. I think the color stories are so nice and they're just gorgeous. We'll see about the toffee one. Oh, I don't know, I'll see about that one, but I'm thrilled to have these in my collection. Definitely looking forward to reading what you guys have to say about these palettes. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.